because they took the step to surrender in the first place. They're motivated to get this over with. So this is just a logical next step of finishing the case. They have to do one more thing that's going to be finished. So they're motivated. They're ready to handle it. And they show up again. And that's good. When people don't show up for court, it just wastes time and money. And if that was a consistent pattern here, we might be hard-pressed to get these cities to sign up for this. Because they might say, well, no one's showing up for court. Why are we going to do this? But they do show up for court. Most of their court cases are handled that way. We've been doing some preliminary analyses on the difference between people who come in with a felony and people who come in with a misdemeanor. People who come in with a felony are on the run longer, a little less than 2 years versus a misdemeanor 1 year. While most people do come in with someone, more felons come in with someone, maybe the perception is they're going to be arrested. If they think they're going to be arrested, they might really want to come in with someone. A lot of people want driver's license. That wasn't on the survey. We didn't think as a reason that they're surrendering, but it was quickly added. And it's one of the most popular reasons people are surrendering because they want to be able to drive legally. And that was something we learned by people writing that on a survey. I don't want my driver's license. You talk to people, why do you do this? I can't get your license. I don't do this. So that's something unexpected that we didn't think of, but that's a real driving force for some of these people who turn themselves in. Most people, regardless of gender, race, age, want to surrender to the church. They're happy surrendering to the church. The perception versus reality issue is when they walk in, more people think they're going to be arrested than they actually are. But they're still walking. We ask them what they think they have warrants for, misdemeanor, felony, or they're not sure. People underestimate whether or not they have a felony warrant. More people have them than think they have them. And then this last statistic is interesting, and it's consistent across every cycle. We have people who turn themselves in who don't have a warrant. They think they do, but they don't. They'll argue. I've been usually in the room where the warrants are running. They will argue with the person running the warrant. I know I have a warrant. They'll say, no, I know I have it. No, you don't. But it's important that these people surrender. Here's why. Because if they were stopped by a police officer for a traffic violation, and they think they have a warrant, they're going to act like they have a warrant. And they can run. Or they can do something very dangerous. When they don't have to. They don't have a warrant. So it's the perception that's important to them. We don't want people thinking that they have warrants and leading police on a chase. And I think I'm crashing into a fan driving home from school. So it's good that these people show up because now they know that they are okay. They don't have a warrant. Maybe they were avoiding getting a job because they had a warrant. They thought they had a warrant. Now they get a job. Now they get their license. With those 10 to 15% of people who show up with no warrants are just as important because they think they do, and they will act that way if stopped. It builds trust between the community, the law enforcement, clergy. It's a positive program here. Relative people, they're turning themselves in for a warrant, but people are relatively happy while they're there because they're getting it taken care of. You can see it. They're happy it's over, that it's going to be over. The system, oftentimes law enforcement systems don't necessarily work together, different sheriff's offices or local police, but in this instance, they work together very effectively. They have different systems, they check warrants differently, but they come together and run this program. And they realize maybe there's a better way to do things in our area, and we're not doing that. But this program has shown us we can work together on this effective program. So it helps each city realize its potential to work together. Again, it contributes to the offender rate when they show back up to court, which is great, the result of those warrants. It's community safety issue. Community is safer with felons, with people who have open warrants off the streets. You're safer because there's going to be many less instances of someone running or Marshal going out to surfboards when something bad happens. Violent confrontation takes place. This reduces that rate. That's not me, but that's Dan. He's been involved in the program again from the beginning. But if you have any questions, I have handouts of the slides. If you have any questions at all, right now, you can let me know. Cards or something. Everything about the program.
Well, it seems like I'm just getting to know this program pretty well, and from what I'm hearing, just.
Do you have a warrant, Megan?
I don't think so.
No.
Maybe I should
Don't answer
Maybe she might, but she doesn't.
Say nothing.
Anyways, what I'm hearing a lot from you guys and from the three of you is that there's this, first of all, this perception out there. There's this perception of distrust or mistrust from law enforcement. And then there's this perception of what will the community think of me, and what in this perception of if I go to the church, this is a safe space. And so it's just in whether these people have warrants or not, whether the concrete evidence of these warrants are there, it's this perception. So it's just a very interesting thing to me how can we, in a way, change these perceptions? And I think Pete, you came up with a brilliant idea about this, getting to the morality and the value system of these individuals that are out there, because it seems like it's really working to change that perception, so that not only are they changing, maybe they being perceived in their minds by the church as these good people who are doing the right thing, but also maybe they're seeing, with law enforcement there on the premises at the church, that there's a different partnership there, that law enforcement aren't there to be these people that take the bad guys away, and that these people only perceive themselves as bad guys. So, you know what I mean?
That's very wise, because I remember there was a line that was said to me by one person who surrendered in Memphis. And he said something to the effect of, I realize now that these guys, he was pointing to the guys in uniform.
That was in Phoenix, I remember talking about.
Yeah, it's Phoenix. And it's something like they're not.
There's a captain in Phoenix.
No, I'm talking about one of the people surrendered, who said, maybe they're not really so different from us. They're not really separate from the community. They're kind of part of the community.
They're part,
They're okay. They're just doing their job.
But what we heard, and again, with that, what we heard from the captain in Phoenix kind of, the local sheriff's department in the beginning, they took the best of, 15 people show up, and they had 1,300 show up in 4 days. And the captain had said, now I get to, that fought against us, but now I get to see what they go through. So it's no more me against them. It's sort of bad. Now, what I meant by trust in the community, there's a lot of citizens that do trust the police. There's some citizens that don't trust the police. And we've had, again, in our history, we've done these things. And one point in Washington, I remember someone dressed up when the Redskins were in the Super Bowl and put on a big chicken outfit and gave out free Super Bowl tickets to anybody that showed up. Remember, and 1,000 people got arrested in this thing, and people went to jail. That's the hump we have to get over, because that doesn't build. It worked. They're effective, but it doesn't build any trust between the community and law enforcement. If you just say surrender, it's built on trust. What you see is what you get. It's built on honesty. There's no fake advertising. At the end of the day, people in the community appreciate that. And they talk about the respect that's being shown to them. We've had, in Detroit, when I was in Detroit last year, there was about 300 fugitives sitting in the pews of the church. And most of the fugitives, all the fugitives, will sit there all day long. Some of them get processed for 10 hours later. They wait and wait and